How is it going, ladies and gents? It is the first of the transfer specials, part number 1, episode 69, nice, of the Vuvuzela Victory Challenge. We've got some transfers to do. We've got a left-back situation that needs to be addressed, as well as selling off some players. We've got a lot of players on huge wages that we need to get rid of. Stay tuned for all of that. Hit subscribe, get notified, tell your parents, grandparents, lovers, and haters to join in on the fun. Your boy, the Vuslap, is ready to get into the transfer special. Hope you guys are too. That's a good offer as well. Now, I have mapped out the squad that I want to use and keep. I'm going to take Perez out now. So this is the team that we're sort of going to use. Obviously, we're going to get a new left back in. I do have someone that I am going to go for now that I'm going to sell Perez. Definitely going to sign him, I've decided. With that being said, you can see the first team is pretty much set in stone. That's kind of how we see it. In terms of backup, you guys know that I like to add one sort of player per position and then a couple of extras at the bottom. We're going to start off with these guys. These are all the guys that I've deemed are ready to leave the club. There's a lot of money to be generated from all of these players. A lot of Saudi interest in a lot of these players. Unfortunately, Emiga is injured, so he probably won't leave the season. But yeah, this is what we kind of mapped out. For the backups, I'm going to go with Kamara as a backup centre-back. I think he is good enough to start playing in the first team. Of course, last season was on loan at Luzerne. Assisted 1 goal, 6.78. Not too bad for the young Portuguese, Gabonese player. So he will come into the first team as a backup option. Other players that are coming in is Russ Ardas Neves, Roy Pedro de Neves as a backup right winger. He looks like he could be absolutely fantastic. Potentially even displacing Almeida as the permanent right winger. But he is definitely going to be in and around the first team. We can actually remove him from the loan list. He's not going to be available. Another player who's not available for loan is going to be Raza, Shahid Raza, our Belgian. If you remember him from Thun days, he's going to come in and play backup to Domini this season. I feel like he's ready to get some first team action. And in some aspects, you could say he's actually a little bit better than Domini at the moment. But Domini will probably still be the first team. He is still young, 18 years of age. He's going to come in there. Other players that I want to try and give options to is Pierre Luis, a backup striker. I have toyed with the idea that if the right offer does come in for Lisboa, I probably will sell him. There is a lot of clubs interested in loaning him. Maybe a loan would be actually ideal for Pedro Lisboa to try and develop a little bit better. The same for Herderio. Could potentially become a decent little player, but I think he definitely needs to go out on loan. So that's what we're looking for. We are going to look for then another left back and a centre mid. We only have Moya and Duath and Liletu as the centre mid, so that is somewhere we're going to look at definitely building up the squad. And if a couple of guys go out on loan, if we sell some of these guys, we can bring in some other fringe players. If we find someone that is good enough to be in the first team, then hey, we're going to do it. In terms of players that I have scouted and players that I've decided would be my backup left back player, of course, I like this guy, Marcelino Escobar, who I think is a very good left back. He's got all the attributes that I like as a left back. Can play right back as well, which is a double up. The other player that I'm also quite interested in is Marcelo, the 22-year-old Brazilian. He looks like he could be absolutely fantastic. He plays for Atletico Paranaense in Brazil. He looks like he could be good. If you just compare him and Escobar together, there is an argument to say that Marcelo is probably the better of the two in terms of defending, whereas Escobar is a little bit better on the attacking side. So yeah, I think we're going to go for Marcelo. I think he is the likely of the two choices to go for. Definitely want to bring him into the squad. Let's take that out. I'm going to lower the offer. Let's go to 17.5. Will they take that? They just... Okay, they're not unhappy about it. The problem is they're not willing to sell him mid-season in Brazil. So he's got 19.5. We'll see what happens. Another player that I have had a look at and I think could potentially be very, very good in that midfielder role as a backup is 20-year-old Hossam Amer from Egypt. Currently playing in Pyramids. He's requested to leave. He is relatively cheap at just 12.5 million. He's wanted by a couple of teams in Belgium as well as a team in Portugal. He looks like he could develop into a very, very good backup little player. We're going to make the offer on him as well. 12.25 is the release clause. Just make that offer straight up. We'll take the 12.5. And then, of course, we've got a bunch of other players. There is another player that I have made a bid on already for a free transfer coming through in January if he does. We remember from Junior, the team we took on, Emilio Munez. I pointed him out as being the hot prospect. He has a release clause of 1.6 million. That doesn't matter because we have made a bid for him for free at the end of his contract. And there's a whole host of clubs that are interested, including some Premier League team and Sporting, Crystal Palace, and a couple of Saudi teams very much interested in Emilio Munez, who I think coming in January could help the team quite a little bit if he decides to sign. Of course, waiting on him for that one. And then a couple of other players that I've had my eye on, relatively cheaper players in terms of just for squad build-up. Gabriel Alonso is another one for us. I'm not making an offer just yet. I want to first solidify the positions that we desperately need before we make bigger offers on other players. Gabriel Alonso is a type of defender that I kind of like. I like the fact that he's got a jumping reach of 12 and a headering of 12, which is quite good. But better, he's very pacey and he's a brave young man. I think he could be absolutely fantastic. A marking of 17 is great. Passing, though, is a bit of a concern on my side, but he is someone that we're going to keep an eye out on there. Another player that I had an eye on who's not interested currently in joining the club, but could potentially join the club at a later stage if he changes his mind, I guess. And I'm struggling. Oh, there he is, Aldo. I know he's got a rating of D from my scouts. They don't rate him, but I looked at his stats, and he doesn't look like a bad attacking midfielder. I know he's naturally a striker, but as attacking midfielder, other than his passing, he looks like he could be a very, very good young player. But, of course, we are still... That's a luxury signing, if anything. And then, of course, there's a few other guys on here that are just ridiculously overpriced that we could look at potentially bringing in guys like Jokanovic. I mean, if we can afford him, I will definitely make an offer for him. He's so good. He is such a good player, as well as Modric. You guys know what I've spoken about Modric. I mean, he is really, really good. He is very, very good as well. Buder is another player that I have looked at as a centre-back option. And at 12 million, he might just be a little bit better than the young Argentine. If I can afford both, hey, that's great. We still need to find another backup left back. I'm going to go look around and see what comes up in terms of backup left back. I can't really afford bringing him and Marcelo in. And I don't feel it's justifiable to bring in someone at the age of 24 as a backup, expecting, going to expect big wages. Probably. It just doesn't make sense. What is he even expecting, actually? Let's just ask his agent. What would he want? 51 to 64,000. It's just not viable, is it? It's just really not. So having looked around at some of the players that we've scouted at the left back position, Elijah van der Meer looks like a good little backup player. We just compare him to Marcelo. You can see he's not that far off Marcelo in terms of attribute. He does have a long throw, which is nice. He is a player that we have looked at. Another player that I have also looked at is Obi Bright, or Bright Obi. And if you compare the two of them, Elijah is the better player. Obi is only 18 years old. Elijah's just 23. They're both going to cost around the same. In terms of wages, probably going to be about the same. The nice thing about Obi, he can play anywhere along the back. I feel like that could potentially be something, but Elijah's too good, isn't he? Elijah is too good. What is Elijah going to cost me? Let's have a look. 25 to 30 is not bad. 10 million isn't bad. I kind of like him. I kind of like him. Let's make that offer for Elijah van der Meer. I'll give you 9.75. Installments is fine. Per game is not fine, but I'll give you that. How about 3 installments? Let's lower that a little bit. I'll take that. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. All right, let's move up in the world and let's see what happens. Well, guys, they keep rejecting my offer. I've gone up to 23 million. They've said no. I don't really think we're going to get him for anything less than 31 million. And I just don't know if he's really good enough for 31 million. And the more I look at Van der Meer, the more I think that Van der Meer might be able to be our first team left back rather than Marcelo. They're not that far off each other. Marcelo is obviously a better player. But at 31 million, he's being a little bit hardball. I am going to try and make an offer for Escobar, though. He might be a little bit of an option as well. He was my second choice, but I just feel like 30 million Marcelo might be a little bit too much out of my reach. Although, yeah, that's fine. We can take that. A lot cheaper for Escobar. And I think Escobar could actually be a very good player. He is someone that I'm interested in. They can go for free. He's out of contract, so I don't even know why they're coming up with offers. Yeah, you make an offer. Gilmares. The other Gilmare. The youngster. He can go. A lot of youngsters coming in there. They're offering him some money, which is nice for him. I don't know why they do it. Pedro dos Santos. Is he one of the guys that... Yeah, he is one of the guys that I said could go. Just to generate a little bit of money. Here we go. Come on, guys. Come on, Saudi team. 12.5 million. Give me 30. Will you try 30? They won't go for 30. 9 million for him is perfect. He can go either to Brazil or Saudi. That is some good money coming in. Vuvuzela as well. We've got one for 8.5 million. They're offering 19 in installments. So what if I do this, right? He is only valued at 18. What if you give me 20 up? You know, give me 17.5 up front. Would you take that? I won't. Okay. Well, you know, you got to negotiate sometimes. 14.5 million is perfect. I will take that. And if Boca and Al Riyadh want him, they got to pay that. And then what I am going to do for Varela, I'm going to offer him out at 18 million. Let's see if anybody bites at 18 million. You can see 21 players is everything we're trying to get rid of. These are all just youngsters and Paulo Matos and just a lot of youngsters that we're going to try and, over the course of the summer, try and get rid of them. In terms of staff, we have pretty much the best staff in the league, except for goalkeeping stopping. Our goalkeeper coach, newly signed, by the way, just thought I'd give that a shot, Scott Carson. And look at him. Other than his level of discipline, he is a fantastic little goalkeeper. Was the goalkeeper coach at Birmingham after he retired at Man City, which was fantastic to see. So yeah, it's our new coach. Escobar story is leaked. Porto interested. He's not 100% interested. He's more interested in Liverpool and Saudi. We'll send you on a course. We're not going to promise that. We're going to challenge for Premier. That is fine. He wants to be a squad player, which is great. He wants 62. I was hoping for about 50. Let's go 55. Give it 3 million signing on bonus. If we win the Champions League, get 750. Stuck on 62. How about 58? We'll try and bribe your agent a little bit, and I'll give you 1 million if we win the Champions League. He's happy with 58. Okay, that's a good one. They want to pay off. We're going to accept the payoff for these guys just to literally get them off. A Saudi team wants me to pay him off. My word. Yeah, they can all get payoffs. That's fine. They've matched those offers. 1.1 million in compensation fees. It's not that much to get a player on a huge salary. I mean, if you look at Varela's salary alone, 145 million. I mean, if we can get rid of Neto and Varela, that's almost 250,000. In fact, 270,000 right off the books immediately from the sales. Tarekos is another one that's I want to get rid of at 87. The rest are sort of in the mid-range, which would help. But those two, especially, even Emiga as well, the three of them ideally could go. Gordon Diath on 160, seeming to be like a bit of business, I guess. But hey, he has proven that he is a very good DM, and I like him. I like Diath. I know what he's about. I'm willing to keep him. Well, guys, our backup left back has left the building. Raul Perez, 23.5 million. 12 million goes back into the transfer budget, which does now leave us quite healthy at 22 million. We could go up to about 35 plus 12 because it hasn't been added on yet. So, yeah, 47, not bad. We're making some big money. We got about $1 million in the 300,000 rather in the wage budget which you can use. Our overall balance has gone up to 53 million, which is absolutely fantastic because we were hemorrhaging a lot of money during the course of the season, which always happens. There we go. But we have signed our first player of the transfer market, Elijah Vandermeer, coming into the squad. Obviously, going to be our backup left back if Escobar doesn't. If Escobar signs. If he doesn't sign, I think I might just use Vandermeer as a left back permanently on our team. I think he is that good. Well, folks, it's official. Martin Neto has left the building. 9.5 million. He's off to Al Raid in Saudi. So that's where he's off to. Going to go join the Saudi team that side. In terms of other news, Club Bruges have come in for a loan offer for Lisboa, which I've accepted. They want to play him as an important player, which means it's good. And then I've also allowed him to play, can play against the parents' B team if need be, because they are going to play against each other, maybe in friendlies or something like that. And I have added can recall, just in case there. But it can be recalled, loan cannot be terminated. So I don't understand that, but that is the terms and conditions that they wanted. The same goes for Hedrero, same concept. A little bit less. He's off to Vuvuzela, who play in the Portuguese second league. So hopefully he can become a little key player in the Portuguese second league to help them a little bit as well. Oh, Vida, who 19-year-old winger. He's listed for loan. Chelsea want to give him 10.5 million, non-negotiable. I'm not going to sell him for 10.5 million. You've got to give me at least 30 to 35 million for João Miguel Vida. There's no way I'm going to take that. They're trying to get my under 23 assistant manager out of their books. That's fine. They can take him. Honestly, staff in the... I don't really care much about the staff in the youth setups, but definitely not going to sell Vida for 14 million. Chelsea needs to come in with a much, much better offer if they want to buy Vida. Willing to let him go out on loan, though, so that is an option if anybody wants to loan him. They're more than willing to do that. Watford have offered 0 funds. No. You've got to give me at least 60% if you want Lisboa at Watford. No. I'm not even going to entertain that. That is just stupid. Oh, folks, Emilio Manuz has agreed to join Crystal Palace. That's annoying. Anyway, other news, though. We've signed our new DM, Hossam Amir, coming to the club. 12.5 million. We'll take him. That is good news, at least. I was kind of hoping Munez. I thought he was going to be a really good wonder kid for us coming in the future, but Munez, obviously a rotation option, coming in as the DM, going to be training as a defensive midfielder on defend. I want him just to improve his defensive stuff. Send him on in course. Welcome him to the squad. Pop him into the team as a backup. Bob's your uncle. Done. There we go. Oh, Vandermeer did pick up an injury, and he might miss the start of the season because he's injured for 4 weeks. So, yeah, definitely going to need a left back. We do have Matos, who is looking at a subject of a 2.5 million bid. Probably going to go, which means Escobar is all that much more important that we need to sign Escobar. Annoyingly, Benfica beat Palmeiras in the finals of the Club World Cup 2-1. fantastic. In terms of players in, we're still waiting for Escobar. We 12.5 million. We have some money in the transfer. We still have quite a bit. We've got 36 if we want to do it. I can also sell some clauses. He's the last sort of player that we kind of desperately need, which now means that if he does sign, and I'm only going to do once he does sign, there is some other players we're going to look at coming through. A few other players like Van der Plume and stuff. We're going to just have a look around and see what's available. If there's players that are currently better than our first team, obviously we're going to sign those players and bring them into the first team. Players like Luis Silva here, who looks like he could be a very, very good attacking midfielder, and probably a little bit better than Raza at the moment, which does mean to bring him in and then loan Raza out for maybe 2 seasons, develop him even better. Although I really feel like Raza should be in the first team, to be 100% honest with you guys. But obviously, if the likes of Lisboa, Gilmere, and Varela, and Herrero, and Neto all leave, it does leave the door open for a few more players to come in, become backup players in the interim. Well, guys, it's official. Marcelino Escobar, our new left back, has joined the club. 11 million, absolutely brilliant. Type of player that we desperately, desperately wanted. In terms of now, the first team is looking as good as it can. We have space for about 3 more players that we can bring as anything. I haven't actually mentioned Bruno Costa. I forgot to mention him. I did bring him up from the under-21s. He looks like he's a very, very good DM. So much so that I think he might be better than Amir, who's brought in as a backup for Bruno Costa. And if you look at the two of them, head-to-head, you know, defensively, he's a bit better. He's a bit slower than Amir, but mentally, and a little bit technically, he's better. So there's that. So I'm going to keep him in around. He's going to be in and around the first team. We've got Moya, Amir, Costa, Duath, and Eletu that are all going to play in that midfield role. Costa can also play in the attacking midfielder role, which is nice. So can Amir as well, if we need to call upon him. So there is some nice depth in the midfield. In terms of just backup players, I'd like to get in another winger or 2. We've got Neves and Silva as the 2 backups, but another one couldn't hurt the books too much. Also, if we don't sell Terekos, he could be that other backup option there. But Emega, Matos, and Lisboa are definitely guys that I want them to sort of go. So yeah, there is options for other players as well. We can do it like that. And then other players that are currently wanted that I probably will sell if the right offer comes in. One of them being Eletu. If the Man City and Al Hilal make those offers, you know, we could do it. Man City apparently lack the financial power to do so, which is interesting. So that is an option. I probably will let him go. Cho De Jong is another player that I would let go, but he's only wanted on loan. I'd probably only sell him. I won't loan him. Another player that I am probably willing to let go is Pierre Luis. But again, not on loan, definitely for sale. He is a player that I am probably looking at. If the right offer comes in, we'll make that offer. Well, guys, we've sorted out the left-back situation, brought in 2 very good left-backs, in my opinion. The likes of Vandermeer and Escobar going to do wonders for the club. There's still a lot more wheeling and dealing to come on. That's all coming on tomorrow's transfer special to end off the week. Your boy, the Vuslap, is out of here. Make sure you hit subscribe, get notified, tell your parents, grandparents, lovers, and haters. Leave a comment or 2 as well, and hit the like button. It helps. It really does help. So, for me, peace. Chicken grease.